morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Astral Radio, so today we need to take a little bit of a look at the FAQ for Astral Radiance. You see, Astral Radiance pre-releases have now begun. The set is out very, very shortly, and as I tell you all the time, if you're gonna play the game, you need to know the rules. As always, a massive shout out to the wonderful people over at Pokegym who do go and provide this FAQ. And remember, yes, it is on Pokegym, not on the official Pokemon website, but let's be 100% clear, this is the official FAQ, these are official rulings, this is how the game works, that is how awesome Pokegym are. So starting off then, in this new set, we've got those new Radiant Pokemon, like Radiant Greninja, as an example. And they have that new rule whereby you can only have one Radiant Pokemon in your deck of any description. So if you've got Radiant Greninja, you can't have Radiant Heatran or Lucha or any of that. How does that work with pre-releases? What if you are lucky enough to pull more than one Radiant Pokemon at a pre-release? I mean, congratulations. You had a way better pre-release than I did. But no. No, you obviously don't get to play more than one, because the Radiant Pokemon rule says you can't have more than one Radiant Pokemon in your deck. There's no reason we would change that for pre-releases. So moving on to abilities then, one of my very, very favourite cards in the set is the new Regigigas. It's got the rather redonkulous ability, Ancient Wisdom. Once during your turn, if you have Regirock, Registeel, Regice, Regieleki and Regidrago in play, you may attach up to 3 energy from your discard to one of your Pokemon. And as a side note, remember that is energy, not basic energy. Well, we do have a Regirock V. That exists. That is a card which exists in the game. Will that satisfy the requirement? No. No, it will not. It is not a card with Regirock in its name. The ability specifically refers to the Pokemon called Regirock, and Regirock V and Regirock are different Pokemon with different names. It's got to be the single prize version of it. Now, speaking of Radiant Greninja, we've got that ability Concealed Cards, which lets you discard an energy card from your hand to draw 2 cards. Can I discard an energy from my hand now, and later during my turn draw 2 cards? That would be super useful if for something you wanted to use a Bibarel as an example. So you draw 2, you got 5 cards in your hand, then you use Bibarel to draw an extra 2. No. It would be great if it did, but that's never the way stuff like this has worked. You must draw the 2 cards immediately after discarding an energy card, and then there's a note that once per turn means you cannot use this Radiant Greninja's Concealed Card ability multiple times during the same turn. Hey, speaking of all those lovely Regi cards, we do have, of course, Regidrago, with the rather redonkulous ability, Dragon's Horde. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in the active, you may draw until you've got 4 cards in hand, but you can't use it more than once per turn. Even if you've got multiple Regidrago, this does not stack, that's very important. And that's what the ruling is. If I've got multiple Regidrago in play, can I use each of their Dragon's Horde abilities? No. No, you cannot, because it specifically says you cannot use more than 1 per turn. In that way, it is very, very similar to Kricketune. Kricketune will also draw till you've got 4 cards in hand if it's active, or 3 on the bench. The rule is simple. If it says once per turn, you may, then you can use it per Pokemon. So once on that Pokemon, but if you've got multiple, you can use them. But if it ends specifically saying you can't use more than 1 such and such ability each turn, then it is unfortunately not a stacking ability, and it is once only. Now there is a new Eevee in this particular set, and it does come through with a rather nice ability, Resonant Evolution, and this is the one whereby if you evolve an Eevee from your hand, then you can search your deck for a card that evolves from this Pokemon and put it onto the Pokemon to evolve it. So then the question became, does that essentially stack? I.e., if I've got 4 Eevee in play, if I evolve 1 from my hand, then I can go Eevee number 2 and evolve using the ability. Will that trigger Eevee number 3? And then will Eevee number 3 trigger Eevee number 4? And the answer is yes. If you have multiple Eevee in play, playing a card from your hand to evolve one of them would trigger every resonant evolution. Although to be clear, it's not really 1 triggers 2, 2 triggers 3, 3 triggers 4. It's 1 triggers 2, 3, and 4. All of the abilities trigger at the same time, and you can evolve up nice and easily. Now, Darkrai VSTAR is coming in, and this is looking like a very, very good card, and it's got a rather nice ability, Star Abyss. And it says, basically, put 2 item cards from your discard pile into your hand. Well, can you use the ability first, and then later put 2 item cards into your hand, again, so you could draw extra cards with stuff like Bibarel, etc.? The answer is no, obviously not. It would be awesome if you could. It would make the card way better. But no. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that is not how it works. And I think we probably all could have guessed that. If we're honest with each other, I think we all probably could have guessed that. Sorry. You've then got Palkia VSTAR Star Portal. And just as a side note here, Palkia is projected to be one of the very, very best cards in the set. This is looking like an absolute top-tier deck. It's pretty gosh darn good. But the ability Star Portal says, during your turn, you may attach up to 3 water energy from your discard pile to your water Pokemon in any way that you like. Can I use it to retrieve cards like Rapid Strike energy that count as a water energy? And the answer is no. And the reason is very simple. These kind of cards, things like Rapid Strike energy, they only count as water energy when they are attached. When they're in the discard pile, or your hand, or anywhere else in your deck, they don't count as water energy. It is only when they are attached that they count. So because you are accelerating energy here from your discard pile, your Rapid Strike energy in your discard pile doesn't actually count as a water energy. Now, Hisuian Typhlosion comes in here with its Supernatural Orb ability. It's quite a nice, interesting one that I think some people could have a little bit of a play with. And this is one that lets you discard a Psychic energy from your hand to make your opponent's active Pokemon both burned and confused. Can I use it if my opponent's active is already burned and confused? You may, for instance, want to get that energy into the discard to accelerate it with an ability, or just to empty out your hand to draw more cards with other Pokemon. And the answer is, if the Pokemon you're targeting is burned or confused, you can use this to put the other special condition on. If, however, the Pokemon is burned and confused, then no, you cannot use this ability because it would have no effect. You cannot use it to go after your opponent's Pokemon. Sorry about that. Now, we saw Kricketune earlier. There is actually a new Kricketune in this set, and it's got a rather nice ability. It's got the ability Swelling Tune, and it basically just puts all your grass Pokemon, other than Kricketune, up to an extra 40 HP. What about Kricketune V? And this goes back to the ruling I told you about earlier with Regirock. Kricketune and Kricketune V do not have the same name. This ability specifically refers to Kricketune, not to Kricketune V. So yes, Kricketune V would get the extra 40 HP, regular Kricketune wouldn't, but Kricketune V would because it's a different Pokemon. And then finishing off with abilities, we've got Hisuian Samurott with the ability Wily Stance. Lets you discard a card from your hand and draw 3 cards. Can I do it if there are no cards in my hand? For instance, to get an energy into the discard? No, you cannot. And it's the wording here that's very important. You may discard a card from your hand to use this ability, but because you can't draw any cards, you can't use the ability, so it wouldn't work. Remember, however, if you've got a single card in your deck, you can use this and you won't get full value, but because you're getting some value, it will totally work. Now, most of the rulings here are about your Pokemon's abilities, but there are some here that do refer to attacks as well, including Golduck's Entangled Dive, which says that both active Pokemon get discarded, and all cards attached to them to get discarded as well. Does my opponent get to take a prize card if I use Golduck's Entangled Dive to discard my opponent's active Pokemon? No. And nor do you. Because you're not knocking out. You don't take prize cards when Pokemon leave the active or get discarded or any other phrasing. You draw prize cards when you knock out a Pokemon. And in this situation, no Pokemon have been knocked out, so no players take prizes. And then finally finishing off with a couple of trainer cards, we've got Cancelling Cologne. Still love the name of that, that's kind of cool. Our Cancelling Cologne basically says your opponent's active Pokemon has no abilities, including Pokemon that move to the active spot during this turn. So if I play Cancelling Cologne and then somehow switch out the opponent's active Pokemon, does the new active Pokemon have abilities? And this is the one where the wording of the card should make it pretty clear. The effect of the Cancelling Cologne is on your opponent's active Pokemon position, not on the individual Pokemon. So no matter who's in the active position, it won't have an ability. But if a Pokemon goes from the active to the bench, then it would gain its ability back. And this is important because remember, as soon as you switch from the active to the bench, you're then considered a new Pokemon. But here the effect is on the position, not on the Pokemon. So we good, ladies and gentlemen. We good. And then finishing off one of the prettiest cards in the set, we've got Temple of Sinnoh. A new card that basically just says, the special energy in play just provides, well, the way it's actually written is one colourless energy. And that's where the confusion comes in, because some people read it as one colourless energy, some people read it as colourless energy. So the question is, well, hang on a second, if double turbo energy is in play, does that still provide two colourless energy because it was colourless energy to begin with? And the answer is no, it provides one colourless energy, but it also wouldn't reduce the amount of damage done by 20, because that is still an effect of the energy which is removed. So yeah, it goes down to one energy and that sucks, but it is quite interesting to note that it will actually remove that minus 20 damage if that's important to you. I should say a massive shout out to the lovely Justin Basil and the lovely Joe from Cerebi.net, who did provide our translations for the cards for which we currently don't have English scans. And a massive shout out once again to Pokegym for just giving us these rulings that, remember, are official rulings. But now it's over to you guys. Which one of these do you like? Which one of these are important to you? Which one of these might have caught you by surprise? Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.